Okay, thank you everyone for coming along to this EMEA deployments track. Hope you had a nice lunch and you had an informative and entertaining morning. So I'm the first speaker. I'm the track chair, so any questions, please come to me. My name is Mark Dansie. I'm the OCP Ready facilities lead. And I'd like to talk to you today about a new recognition as part of the OCP Ready program called OCP Ready for Hyperscale. This new assessment that's been created specifically for the needs of hyperscale users allows a data center operator to check the readiness of their facility to see if it's ready for a hyperscale wholesale deployment. The site assessment can also be used to check whether your standard design for a data center would meet the needs of a hyperscale user. Now we're launching this in this quarter of 2024. And it's been 18 months of collaboration between hyperscale community members within OCP, led by Google and Scott Sharp, my co-lead. This new assessment, which has been specifically created for hyperscale deployments, is primarily focused on the base building requirements, some site access, security, certifications, and many attributes that all hyperscalers need that a data center should be providing for their requirements. The checklist is 120 questions, and these are fewer than many questions that the hyperscalers would normally ask when they interact directly with a data center operator. But we're focusing on the critical elements that the hyperscalers all need out of a data center to try and create some standardization. And as part of the checklist, and also as part of the certification process, it allows a data center operator to choose at which stage of site development they would like to certify their data center. So if they have a standard design that meets the OCP Ready for Hyperscale requirements, they could certify their data center at the core and shell part of the construction, and then we would need to know the forecasted date for that completion of the construction. Or it could be the core and shell is already ready and it's ready for fit out for a hyperscaler. And there are two other categories as well we've added, where a multi-tenant data center is already being constructed and the build is in process, or it could be a colocation facility that's already built out and there's capacity available. So this is a new feature of the OCP Ready program, so that we can include many more types of data centers that are certified, because the hyperscalers need to know quite a long way in the future, in some cases, when a facility is going to be available. So now I'd like to focus on why a colocation data center operator should be participating in this program. By the hyperscalers being open and transparent about their needs, they're helping the industry try and avoid building unsuitable facilities and therefore creating more resources for them to use. By having a site assessment where they can fill this in ahead of time, it means that that site assessment can be shared between a number of hyperscalers, so they can all use it, and therefore it means that the hyperscalers don't all have to ask the same questions. This information can be shared across all users. And if a colo solution provider goes through this process and achieves the approval of the OCP Foundation, They will then be able to brand their data center facility as OCP Ready for Hyperscale, and then be able to be listed on the OCP Marketplace to create awareness of their provision. Some other benefits that colocation solution providers can get from this program is something that we are developing and certainly work in progress, is to create within the assessment attributes and parameters around the requirements for liquid cooling in the data center. And as you've heard earlier on today, we've got other developments in progress around AI, a new AI rack, and that will be liquid cooled, and therefore we need to follow the innovation within the programs such as the OCP Ready so that we make sure that and help the industry understand what the data center operators need to provide. Also being branded as OCP Ready, this allows them to differentiate themselves within the market and show easily to everyone that they are ready to deploy high-performance computing. And also by already completing the site assessment and doing the work ahead of time, this should shorten the sales cycle to getting that space or data center leased to a potential customer. And also, we're encouraging any data center that participates in this program to collaborate with us. This isn't just the hyperscalers telling the industry what they need to provide. It's also getting feedback from the colocation providers to say, well, this is what we can provide. It meets your requirements. Maybe we need to adjust a few things, or maybe you need to also think about other aspects as well. Some things that I'd like to sort of focus on now is around from the hyperscale operator's perspective. So there's one aspect is from the colo data center operator, but now why do the hyperscalers want to participate? Well, they want to find this information a lot easier than they're able to do at the moment. And one of the developments we have in process in OCP is to create a central repository for this information that's going to be captured through the site assessments. And therefore, they can interrogate really easily the information they need about a data center. And we're going to create that function through the creation of a database. Through the alignment between the hyperscalers in this collaborative way, they can all agree on needs that they all have. It could be weight loading of lifts at freight elevators. It could be the entrance into the campus. They all need certain things, all very similar, so they're aligning themselves and trying to get some standardization within the industry. Also, again, they're being open and transparent, which means that they can help the industry avoid building data centers that are not suitable for their needs. And moreover, by having this program, creating awareness of these facilities to the hyperscalers, it means that they have more resources and more facilities to choose from. And this really benefits them when they're going into emerging markets and they're building out cloud regions in new areas of the world. If these data centers can come onto the program, create awareness about what they can provide to the OCP Ready for Hyperscale requirements, then that means they can act a lot quicker. Now I'd like to just sort of focus on what a hyperscale deployment characteristic is, and that the leasing is in megawatts of power and cooling. So this site assessment is focused on hyperscale wholesale deployments. And in many cases, they're looking for data center, data halls to be ready for fit out. And then that conversation goes on after we've introduced them to a particular facility through the program, then a more detailed conversation goes on between the hyperscalers and the data center operator, where there are many, many more questions asked, but we're part of a pre-site selection process, as you, in one way of thinking about it. So within the assessment, we're looking at the really critical elements, as we say, the low-hanging fruit. I know it's a very old age term, but it sort of fits it perfectly. These are the real important elements. So from site access, this is, for a requirement, getting a truck into a campus. The minimum requirement is a 40-foot or 12-meter trailer. That's what they need because they want to get as many racks onto the campus, into the data center, so they can get everything up and running as quickly as possible. All the way through to structural requirements around weight loadings. We've set minimum requirements for heights within doorways, 2.75 meters. And you've probably seen outside the Open Rack version 3. It's a very large rack, very difficult to get into a building. We had difficulty getting this into this building. So we're now going to have a conference checklist because we've got to consider our conferences rooms are just like a data center because you want to see the equipment that's going to be installed. And we're looking at other areas around mechanical, electrical, availability, all the way through to certifications. And this is our focus area. But what is not in our scope, and that is the proprietary information that a hyperscaler will be discussing with their data center operator. We're not looking to capture that information because that's proprietary to our hyperscale users. So the OCP Ready program has been in operation for since 2018. We have 12 data centers that are certified, and these have been certified to the first site assessment, which we call the OCP Ready Standard Assessment. Now we're going to continue to use that site assessment because it has still got a lot of benefits. We focus that site assessment on the requirements for adopting Open Rack, but this data center site assessment is for a specific use case. So we've got a wide range of data center facilities. Some of them have got experience centers, and they're in different parts of the world, and we're looking to grow this estate massively through this program. And through the process, and when a colocation data center operator gets certified, they also are able to have their data centers listed on the OCP Ready Marketplace, where they have the ability to provide photos, specification information, and also we also provide that open-sourced site assessment. Because once that site assessment has been shared with the community, we open source that as we open source standards and specifications. And as I mentioned earlier, we're creating a database for this metadata. And on this slide, you can see a global image, worldwide image, and that's a new development for the marketplace. You can now go onto the marketplace and you can see all the locations for the OCP Ready facilities that we currently have. So we're not sitting on our laurels. We are looking to the future. We have to create other types of site assessments to fit different use cases because the hyperscalers also need edge facilities. And that's predominantly, I think, been the way hyperscalers have used Colo. But they're still going to need to use those. So even though it may not be a 100 megawatt data center or a 50 megawatt data center, it could be a 2 megawatt data center. But if you've got the right space in the right location, and you've got a space for a cage, then that is definitely an option that a hyperscaler might take up. So we're looking at other use cases as well as part of this program. As I mentioned earlier, liquid cooling is definitely an important thing that we need to add in so that a data center could check whether their facility is able to accommodate liquid cooling solutions. Energy storage, important. We need to make sure that data centers are safe, and in the event of something critical like a fire happening, that data centers are built using standards, codes, and things like that. So that's something we're developing, and many other aspects around data center sustainability metric reporting, which was discussed at great length this morning. And we are certainly aligning ourselves with the EU Code of Conduct. We're going to align ourselves with the EED requirements so that if a data center has captured the information for the EED, that information can then be shared through this site assessment as well, so that everyone is capturing the same information, it's all being shared, and the OCP Ready program is here for openness and transparency, which clearly we don't have at the moment, but we're given the ability for a data center to be open and transparent and be leading the industry. Standardized carbon labeling, again, something that was mentioned today. We would like to see that data centers start using this carbon labeling scheme as and when it gets standardized. And we would give the ability for a data center to say, yes, we are using this. And I think that would be a definite benefit for a colo to be able to do that. So, the call to action. Please reach out to myself or Scott Sharp, my co-lead. Complete the site assessment. Please reach out to me. We can provide you with the latest update. We haven't got it uploaded onto the website yet, but that will be up there soon. So we're launching this in this quarter. So please reach out, present the facility, present your data center facility to the data center facility project. We have these calls on the third Wednesday of the month. They're free to anyone to join. Don't have to be a member of OCP. You can join in. If you want to become a colocation solution provider, you do need to become a member. And upon approval, you will then get the OCP Ready for hyperscale recognition and then be able to be listed on the OCP Marketplace. I've provided here some links to the wiki that we have, to the marketplace, and also to the OCP website, where you can find out more information about the program. And here's my email address, and also our project lead as well, Saket from Meta. So thank you very much for listening. And if anyone has any questions, then happy to take some while we have a couple of minutes.
Okay. I'm Panos from Meta, but I would wear a different hat now as a European citizen. And OVH Cloud made a very interesting argument before about brownfield data centers, like building on existing buildings, converting them to the data centers. Yeah. Would your work actually in any way enable that? Because I suppose that the list, if we were to execute on that, would rule out from the get-go converting an existing building. But have you thought of trying to set the standards and set the procedures so that existing buildings can be converted?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Something we haven't considered. I mentioned we had those categories listed there about core and shell, but we haven't asked, is this core and shell being built on a brownfield site? And it could well be that a customer wants to reduce their embodied carbon, for instance, and or some other metric that's going to be could be land reuse effectiveness. Okay, so I've created a new metric. I'm sorry for that. But maybe we should be considering other things that we should allow our data center operators to be able to be sort of provide more awareness, and therefore the customers will take advantage of that. But that's a very good point. Thank you.
My name is Sven. I have a question that also relating to what you just said. We come from the automation side for data centers, and the primary challenge that we face is that even though we're talking about digitization, most of the buildings for brownfield installations, you have nothing in the digital world. So if you want to assess the building, you're really digging through files in a very old manner. Is that something that you've considered? I mean, to be OCP ready if you want to convert an existing building or have something ready that everything's existing in a digital world?
Yeah, we haven't looked at ever sort of designing from, or we're talking about modifying an existing warehouse. We've never had a work stream that's worked on how do you go about doing that in an efficient and a very sort of economically viable way. But certainly we are open to ideas. If someone has a great idea and they want to create a work stream within the data center facility project, then we're open to suggestions. It's just all a matter of getting some like-minded people to have the same sort of problems or the same ideas, and they want to come together. Then, the data center facility is open to all and open for collaboration. So thank you very much for your time, and we're now going to move on to the next presentation. And thank you.